Okay, get yourself ready for your morning practice. Have a lift to sit on and just come into a good, comfortable cross leg position. Make sure that when you're in cross legs, you're sitting evenly and it feels supportive and level. So just have a little wriggle about, make sure that there is levelness at the seat bones, and it's not always immediately obvious. So you have to just sit in the seat bones for a short while sometimes before you fully address the imbalance. So just feel that you are level. Hold on to your knees and elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from the ears. Look down at the floor, look at something that doesn't move. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Filling your lungs from the bottom to the top. Emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste and push palms together, lengthening from your armpits into your elbows. Elbows into the heels of your hands, the heels of the hands into the fingertips. And then just allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on filling your lungs from the bottom to the top, feeling them expand with the in-breath, feeling the chest expand in sympathy with the lungs. Feeling the intercostal muscles between the ribs expand between the ribs during the in-breath. And all of those expansions reverse with the out-breath. Feel and observe the chest expanding in 3 dimensions, not just upwards but outwards, not just outwards at the front chest, outwards in the side ribs, outwards in the back chest, and relaxation in the chest as you exhale. As long as there are no reasons why you shouldn't hold your breath, just at the top of the in-breath, you can hold the breath, but as long as there's no reason why you shouldn't hold your breath. So at the top of the in-breath, hold your breath just for a second or two, just allowing the air to move into the lung lining, for the body to absorb more of the breath. Normal exhalations, long, slow, deep deliberate inhalations and then holding at the top just for a second or two, no grip. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet the chest. Just normal in-breaths now. No holding at the end of the in-breath. Bring the chest to meet the chin. Raising the chest, the chin down to meet the chest. And spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Just bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. As you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Consciously drawing your shoulders down, take a deep inhalation in through the nose. Feeling the chest expand, and with the out breath, turn to the left. So as you turn, just observe your body's response, the resistance or the lack of. Just observe how the body tells you where there is resistance if you listen. But we don't just dwell entirely on the resistance. We scan the body for areas of freedom. And then the initial perception of the resistance changes a little. Never to say that we ignore it, of course. We should never ignore resistance because it's part of what we work with. But we should never just hone entirely in on the resistance. We work more holistically. As you turn, use each subsequent exhalation to intensify the turn. But feel that the seat bones are level, that you haven't rolled over onto the right seat bone. If all of your weight is in the right seat bone, then adjust the torso in between the two hips. Come back to the center. Take a deep inhalation, and with the subsequent exhalation, turn to the left. Again, observing how your body responds to that initial turn, where there is resistance, where there isn't. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Softening in the jaw, in the tongue, in the throat. And then come back to the centre. Just come off your lift and then come down onto your knees, have the big toes together and the knees apart, and just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just sit back on your heels and just let the legs just find their way into the floor. Just let the shins melt into the floor. So there's probably some resistance to that initially, and just acknowledge that resistance. Acknowledge and appreciate it. Resistance isn't something to be avoided in yoga. Without resistance, there's very little sensation. So embrace the resistance. Push the shin bone consciously into the shin skin so that the thighs react, so that the thighs come to life. Elevate from the thighs up into the spine. Elevating the heart area upwards, drawing the shoulders down, and then come forward, stretching into the arms, but keeping the seat bones in contact with the heels. Listen to the breath. Now we're working quite slowly, but it's so that we can really observe what is happening. So keep the head lifted at this stage. Keep stretching towards the hands, but keep the seat bones down on the heels. You have to use your physical intelligence to know that the seat bones are on the heels, because you can feel the seat bones and the heels in connection. However lightly, bring your head down and just stretch out the arms. Keep turning the tailbone down towards the heels, lengthening the lower back down towards the heels. It's a really nice opening action in the lumbar and in the sacrum. Turn the sacrum so the sacrum's below the lumbar, just above the tailbone. Draw the sacrum area down, but broaden it at the same time from the centre out into the hips. Same with the lumbar. Just be careful with the lumbar. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If there's stiffness in your shoulders, then you can bring your hands a bit wider apart to give you space. Observe how your breath is different in Adho Mukha Virasana. One of the things that Adho Mukha Virasana does particularly well is teaches us how the abdomen is an essential part of the breath function. Because in Adho Mukha Virasana there's kind of minimized space for the abdomen to expand because we're coming forwards. Maybe the abdomen is on top of the thighs a little. So it shows us the abdomen's role within the breath. When the lungs expand, the diaphragm drops down and the abdominal organs move out of the way. And so the abdomen bulges with the inhalation. It's the natural flow of the breath. But breath isn't just in the lungs, it's in the entire torso. It's in the whole body. Come up onto your knees, turn your toes under and come up into dog down. Straighten your legs by tightening the kneecaps. Pressing the backs of the knees through to the fronts of the knees. If you feel that there's resistance in the hips, then bend your knees a little and then scoop the seat bones and the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then re-straighten the legs. Activate the thigh muscles, make the fronts of the thighs lift all the way to the top of the thighs. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the heels start to separate. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Press the palms into the floor deeply. Lift from the palms into the arms, into the hips. Step your feet forwards. Come up into a standing position. And get a couple of blocks for your hands. And then bring your feet as wide apart as your mat. Know that your feet are as wide apart as the mat, because you can feel that the feet are as wide apart as the mat. Just look down, make sure that your toes are in line with each other. Your hands on your hips. Can you feel the edge of the mat at the heel, at the outer edge of the heel? Can you feel the outside edge of the mat with the little toe? If you can't, then adjust your feet until you can. So do that through feeling. Tighten the kneecaps. Lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone. Wing the elbows towards each other behind you. And then keeping the head lifted, hinge at the hips. Keeping the back straight, reach down to the blocks, have them directly underneath your shoulders. Feel that you can really press the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs. Push the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees. Tightening the kneecaps, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Lifting the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs and projecting the chin and the chest forwards. Fill your lungs from the bottom to the top. Fill them with full inhalations, full exhalations. But focusing specifically on the in-breath, because the in-breath brings in the energy, the out-breath distributes it. If you can go down lower, then do, but don't be in a rush. Just allow yourself to feel the pose, just to feel the pose as it is right now, rather than where you want it to kind of be. If you can reach to the floor, then do. If you can reach around the backs of the heels, then do. But work at a rate that is observant. Observation needs to come before action, before activation. Observation and activation are a continual cycle. So your body will tell you when it's ready to go into the next stage, if it tells you that at all. So listen to it. Work with the observation and activation rather than with the ego. The ego always wants us to go into the pose as deeply as we possibly can, but the body might not be ready for that. And it might be a day-by-day thing. Sometimes the body will willingly allow you to move more deeply. Sometimes it tells you that today is not one of those days. So we need to learn to listen and respect it, and that way we're in control of our existence. Okay, bring your hands to your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into the standing position. Just be in konasana with the inner edge of your feet together, just observing your breath. in Tadasana, tighten the kneecaps. That is to ensure that the legs are straight. Turn the fronts of the thighs consciously inwards, so that the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. Lift from the abdomen to the diaphragm, but draw the lower ribs towards the spine. Lift the heart area to the ceiling, but draw the shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen the neck into the head without disturbing the shoulders. Turn the palms all the way out, rotating the upper arms in the sockets, really broadening the collarbone. Spread the fingers, spread the palms. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Stretch your arms forwards, turn the palms like you're doing breaststroke, and then stretch your arms behind you for namaskarasana. Keep your arms straight. Now in namaskarasana, you might want to drop the chest a little and then bend the elbows and then bring the tips of the fingers together. And it's always easier to do this with a dropped chest a little. Then you can walk your hands up the back. But we don't stay with a dropped chest. Once we've got the hands into position, then the first thing we do is to lift and open the chest. Then the next thing is to consciously lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows. Lengthen from the elbows into the heels of the hands. To wing the elbows towards the back of the room. Lengthen the elbows into the heels of the hands. So observe how your namaskarasana feels. What's happened with your legs? Have you kind of become a kind of a strange kind of banana shape? Or can you maintain your Tadasana? Keep drawing those lower ribs towards the spine. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Observe where there is resistance. And observe how that resistance changes. Gently release your hands. When you release your hands, resist the temptation to shake your fingers. Instead, spread the palms. Turn the palms all the way out. Rotate the upper arms in the sockets so that the collarbone broadens. Feel that you can breathe fully into both lungs evenly. Rotating the upper arms in the sockets. Stretch forwards, turn the palms all the way out, and then again, bring your hands behind you. The second time, they should come up the back a little more easily. So you drop your chest a little to bring the arms up, and then lift the chest. Lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows, but wing the elbows towards the back of the room. Lengthen the elbows into the heels of the hand. Observing and respecting areas of resistance, and then reset your Tadasana because it inevitably goes out of shape. Draw the belly button towards the spine. Draw the lower ribs towards the spine. Wing the elbows back. Lengthen from the shoulders into the elbows. Lift the toes to really activate the legs. And then gently just release your arms and then spread the fingers, spread the palms, and again turn the palms all the way out so that you broaden the collarbone. You rotate the upper arms in the sockets. Breathing even and deep inhalations and exhalations. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step your feet apart for trikonasana. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out, and then come down. Find the shin. Look up. Keep those legs straight. Turn the legs in the opposite way to Tadasana. Turn the fronts of the thighs outwards rather than inwards. Draw the abdomen up to the sky. Draw the chest up to face the ceiling. Just breathe in and out through the nose, focusing on full, deep inhalations. Keep turning the tops of the thighs from the big toe side to the little toe side. Do you feel like you're collapsing into that bottom hand, or can you reach up, reach out of the heart area and extend into both arms evenly, reaching deeply into the top palm? Reach up with the top hand, come back to the center, and then swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Just feel that your feet are in the right position. At the heel of the front leg, you've turned the foot all the way out, so that heel should be in line with the instep or the toes of the back foot. Just have a quick look, make sure that that's the case. Turn the fronts of the legs consciously outwards. Extend from the heart area into both arms evenly. And then come down, find the shin. Look up. Breathe evenly and deeply. Focusing on the in-breath. Focusing on filling the lungs evenly. Is it possible to breathe into both lungs evenly, or does the upper facing lung feel more willing to open up? Breathe into both lungs evenly, consciously. So are you collapsing down onto bottom hand, or are you stretching out from the heart area into the arms, into the wrists, into the palms, into the fingers, into the fingertips, into the fingernails? Turning the abdomen up to face the ceiling, keeping the legs dead straight. Reach up, come back to the center, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together. Just come back into Tadasana. Just finding the straight line of the pose. Again, turning the palms all the way out. Listening to the breath. Listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. Feeling the lungs expanding. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just come down onto your knees and then bring your hands shoulder width apart this time. Step back and turn the toes under, have the feet hip width apart. Again, just you can't necessarily see the feet unless you have a proper look, but feel that they're hip width apart. And then come up into dog down. If you're out of line with yourself, then just correct it. But just feel your dog down in action. Tighten the kneecaps, hit the fronts of the thighs consciously through to the backs of the thighs. How does your dog down feel in comparison with the one that you did at the beginning? Just let your head hang down, but keep the arms outstretched, really lengthening into the arms. Lengthening from the hands and up into the hips, from the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Just working on filling the lungs evenly. Observe how the out-breath transforms the energy of the in-breath, distributing it around the body. Come down onto your knees, have the big toes together, the knees apart, and sit back on your heels. Just observe how your energy has changed. Observe how the body feels. Maybe there is space around the lower back. Maybe the shoulders feel a little more warm. Sitting back on your heels, keeping the seat bones in contact with the heels, stretch forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. Keeping the head lifted as you come forwards, stretching the arms. Bring the forehead down onto the floor. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up into a seated position. And then just sit back on your heels, observing your energy. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just sit yourself on the floor, just sit on your seat bones and bring your legs wide, upavistha konasana. So wide legs for upavistha konasana. Now if you sink and you can't roll onto the front edge of the seat bones, then sit on a folded blanket. It just gives you a little bit of extra lift. Have a couple of blocks in front of you that you can reach. Tighten your kneecaps. Draw the kneecaps up towards the thighs, but down into the sockets. Lift the fronts of the thighs up all the way into the top of the leg, but turn the legs inwards, like you're doing prasvarita padottanasana. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, like you're doing tadasana. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Have the hands at the sides of the hips, and then elevate up into the heart area. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Take one of the blocks in front of you, hold it out in front, and hold it firmly, like you want to kind of tear it apart. If you pull on the belt, if you grip the belt really firmly with your hands and then try and tear it apart, you open up the shoulder blade region around the tops of the shoulders. It's a really nice opening action of the shoulders. And then maintain that grip of the block and then raise it over your head. If you struggle to raise it over your head, maybe because your arms are too narrow, then use a belt and just pull on the belt a little wider. Otherwise, just hold onto the belt really firmly. Try and tear the belt apart as you raise it above the head. Feel like it's full of helium and it wants to reach you up to the ceiling. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Maintain the action of the legs. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Try and get the backs of the knees down onto the floor. Keep breathing evenly, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And then release your arms. Just put the block in front of you again. The hands at the sides of the body, just feel the warmth of the shoulders. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, so I want you to bring your hands forward and be on fingertips on the blocks and press the fingertips onto the blocks so that you can get this action of lifting the front chest. Keep the fronts of the thighs turning inwards, and then just a little bit at a time with the blocks quite wide apart. Come forwards. If you've got a bad back, just stay at the first stage or just feel your way into the pose. I think when you come into this with wide arms, it's a bit kinder in the lower back, but just feel that for yourself. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. All the time, staying on the fingertips on the blocks, lifting the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. If you want to bring the blocks down lower, then do, but only if you're ready. Your body will tell you if you aren't ready. Extending the front body forwards. And then walk your hands back to the center. Just remove the blocks and then bring the feet into Supta Baddha Konasana. Hold on to the big toes, lift up into the chest. Again, sit on a lift if you kind of roll back, if you sink in the chest rather than roll onto the front edge of the seat bones. Sit on a lift, sit on a folded blanket. Lift up into the chest. Breathing even deep inhalations and exhalations. And then bring the legs into swastikasana or half padmasana if you can, but it needs to be comfortable in your knees. So if you're kind of up with one leg up like that, then you're never going to be able to be comfortable. So just find your position. Swastikasana, just straight forwards, cross legs, or half padmasana. Bring the hands to the sides of the hips. And again, consciously elevate the heart area up to the ceiling. Lift the abdomen up to the diaphragm, up to the heart area, keeping the shoulders down. Just hold on to your knees. And feel that when you hold on to the knees, there's a completion of an energetic cycle. The energy can flow from the shoulders into the arms, into the hands, into the legs, into the hips, into the torso, into the shoulders, into the arms, into the legs, into the torso. Draw your chin forwards and down to make contact with the chest. Keep lifting the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone. Keep the shoulders away from your ears to stretch out your neck. Stretch out your neck. Feel the chest expand with the in-breath and deflate with the out-breath. Does it feel different now to how it felt at the beginning? Is there a sense of abdominal awareness? So maintaining that cycle of energy from the shoulders into the arms, into the hands, into the knees, into the legs, into the hips, into the torso. That circular energy. Again, if there's any reason why you shouldn't hold your breath, then just breathe normally. Otherwise, at the top of the in-breath, I want you to just, for a second or two, suspend the breath without any grip. It should be just a moment of suspension where you're neither breathing in nor breathing out. Just a second or two, never any longer. Just allowing the energy of the breath to absorb into the body. Just feeling that cycle of energy around the upper body, around the lower body, maintaining Jalandhara bandha. Lift the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region for Mula Bandha. Okay, release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara bandha, and then raise your head. Allow your eyes to softly open. Just holding onto your knees, still lift up into the chest, drawing the shoulders down, take a deep inhalation. And with the exhalation, turn to the right side. Just observing how turn feels in comparison with how it felt at the beginning. Just maintain that breath. Come back to the centre. Hold on to the knees, lift up into the chest, and then turn to the left. And then very gently come back to the centre. Come down onto your back and just pull your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. Just a gentle massage on the physical body. And then hold onto the sides of the mat, pull your knees in towards your chest, and then elevate your legs up to the ceiling. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Just a gentle inversion, just grounding your energy, giving the immune system just a subtle boost. Okay, bend your knees, bring your feet onto the floor. Get a folded blanket for underneath your head. Just make sure it feels level. And then stretch out your legs. Just come up onto your elbows for a moment. Just make sure you're in a really good straight line right down the centre of the mat. And then for a few moments, allow the body to just release into the floor. Have the hands wide apart so that you've got space in the armpit chest. Let the body, the physical body, release into the floor. Just focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Letting the physical body release, letting the arms and the legs soften into the floor. Let the muscles of the arms and the legs completely let go. And observe that feeling of irrepressible, energetic lightness that radiates from the bones. radiates into the bones and into the muscles. And into the organs. Including the flesh and the skin. Just listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. Okay, when you're ready to disturb yourself, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, just observing that feeling of energetic lightness from the inside. Bring your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then very gently roll over onto your right side. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Cross legs with hands in Namaste, your final spinal lift. Just take a few deep breaths down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists bring to the body and to the mind. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tips of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom and peacefulness. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel full of good, positive energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.